Have you ever walked into an office and felt like something was watching you? Not your boss, not a camera, just this weird, heavy feeling? Like the air had a memory, like something old was still sitting in that empty chair by the second desk. You try to focus, you sit at your laptop, but it's like the space itself is slowing you down, draining you, as if the room isn't just where you work, it's where something else has been waiting. And the wild part? It's probably not haunted. It's just bad feng shui. Because in feng shui, when a layout breaks energy rules, when your back faces a door, when two doors clash, when mirrors reflect what they shouldn't, you don't just lose productivity. You invite the unseen. And the space turns into a magnet for things that don't move on. It's not just spooky, it's stagnation. And if your office has even one of these setups, you could be working in a ghost flow without even realizing it. If this kind of wisdom hits home, if you've ever felt drained at work, like your effort disappears into the air, thank you for being here. Hit like, subscribe, or drop a comment if this space speaks to you. It helps YouTube know you're part of this quiet shift. And honestly, we'd love to hear your story too. Let's break down 5 cursed feng shui layouts in the office and what they're really doing to your energy. I was walking into a client's office last spring. Nice building, bright reception. But the moment I stepped in, I saw it. Front door, back door, perfectly lined up like a hallway for ghosts. The whole place felt weird, quiet, like ideas came in, but didn't stick around. The manager even joked. It's like people walk in with motivation and leave it by lunchtime. I didn't laugh. I just looked at those 2 doors, and I knew. In feng shui, when 2 doors face each other, especially in a straight lineate, creates a ghost path. Chai doesn't settle, it rushes. Like wind in a tunnel. No pause, no grounding. And in an office? That means energy comes in and leaves just as fast. Good ideas fly out. Team focus scatters. Money opportunities? Gone before you even notice they knocked. This layout isn't just bad. It's energetically leaking your productivity. You know that feeling when you try your best, but it's like nothing lands? Emails vanish. Meetings spin in circles. You leave work more tired than when you came in, but can't even name what you did. That's what a door-door clash does. It makes your effort feel invisible, like pouring your day into a container with no bottom. Imagine making a smoothie in a blender. Without the lid, everything goes in, fruit, milk, effort. You hit blend, and it sprays out the other side. That's your office energy. When 2 doors are misaligned, you're blending hard, but the energy's leaking faster than you can pour it in. Even in corporate space planning, straight-shot doorways are avoided. Designers often use partitions, planters, or layout offsets to slow down foot traffic and focus energy. Feng Shui just calls it what it really is. Flow control. Here's the shift. You don't need to move walls. You need to interrupt the rush. Place a tall plant between the door, symbolically slowing qi. Use a rug with warm tones to ground energy. Hang a soft curtain or beaded divider inside the far door to stop the tunnel vibe. Even a framed picture, placed with intention, can act like a bouncer for scattered energy. You're not blocking movement. You're redirecting flow. Let the space breathe, not bleed. One office I helped used a big floor lamp as their ghost bouncer. They called it Kevin. Every time something weird happened, like Zoom crashing or printer dying, they'd go, "Kevin's slacking again." Weird layout, fixed flow. And suddenly, everyone started staying past lunch. I once did a walkthrough at a small legal firm. Nice people, neat desks. But when I stepped into the partner's office, something felt exposed. He had this big mirror right behind his chair, like a full reflection of his back, his computer, and half the hallway behind him. He said it was there for more light, but I couldn't focus on the sunlight. I kept feeling like someone was behind me, even though no one was there. The mirror didn't reflect brightness. It reflected anxiety. In Feng Shui, mirrors are like energy amplifiers. They don't just reflect what's physical. They reflect Kai movement, emotion, tension. When a mirror is behind your back while working, your energy becomes exposed. It splits focus. It leaks presence. And sometimes, it even invites what isn't meant to be seen. That's why some old Feng Shui masters call it a ghost gate. It opens up a channel behind you can't monitor. Not great for peace of mind, and terrible for long hours in an office. Ever tried to concentrate, but kept glancing over your shoulder? For no reason? That little twitch of awareness? That instinct that someone might be watching? That's your nervous system reacting to too much energy bouncing off your back. You don't feel secure. You feel mirrored, like your thoughts aren't fully yours anymore. It's the kind of subtle unease that wears you out by 3 p.m. Think of it like trying to sleep, with your phone screen reflecting light right onto your face. You can fall asleep, but it's not restful. Same with working in front of a mirror behind you. Your focus works, but it's never steady. There's always a flicker, always a pull, always that low hum of distraction. Psychologically, reflective surfaces behind us stimulate our peripheral awareness. Even when we're not looking, our brains register movement or visual noise. That's why restaurants avoid placing diners with mirrors behind them. It unconsciously triggers vigilance. In Feng Shui, we call it leaked attention. So what's the fix? If you can, move the mirror. Don't reflect your back, especially not your working space or doorways. If moving isn't an option, hang a soft fabric over it during work hours. Use frosted film to mute reflection, or place a tall plant behind you to break the mirror's line of sight. Even a picture frame or sticky note partially covering it can interrupt the ghost line. The goal isn't to hide everything. It's to redirect the echo. Let your energy sit still, not bounce like a ping-pong ball. One guy I helped didn't want to lose his fancy wall mirror. So he taped a little sticky note in the corner that said, "If you're not real, don't reflect back." We laughed. But I swear after that, he said the mirror behaved better. Sometimes Feng Shui isn't about fear. It's about reminding the space who's in charge of the reflection. If that gave you chills, or if you suddenly remembered a weird mirror in your office, this is your sign. Shift it. Cover it. Name it if you have to. And if you've ever had a moment like that, leave a comment. We read them all. And honestly, your stories help others feel less alone in this quiet energy world. You ever sit down at your desk and feel like your brain weighs more than your laptop? I visited a friend's office last fall. He's in marketing. Nice setup, cozy lighting. But above his chair, a thick, long wooden shelf. Right above his head. Books, binders, random tech boxes. Balanced just right. Or barely. I sat in his chair for 10 minutes and felt this tight pressure. Like the ceiling was leaning in. Like the air didn't have room to breathe. And I thought, no wonder this guy always has a headache by noon. In Feng Shui, anything heavy directly above where you sit creates what's called pressing energy. It's a subtle force that weighs down on your personal qi. Mentally, emotionally, physically, especially in workspaces. It leads to decision fatigue, scattered focus, and low-level anxiety. Worse if you don't even realize it's there. Your body feels the pressure, even if your eyes ignore it. It's like trying to think clearly with a boulder over your head. Ever feel like you're always behind at work? Even when you're sitting still? Like tasks stack up faster than your thoughts can catch them? That's heavy shelf qi. You start each day already weighed down. Not because of emails, but because your brain doesn't have the airspace to move freely. Your focus gets crushed. Before it even starts to fly, imagine trying to read a book while someone hovers a box over your head for an hour. They never drop it, but your body keeps waiting, just in case. That's your nervous system under a heavy shelf. It stays on alert, and alert isn't productive. It's exhausting. Neuroscience calls it environmental threat perception. Even unconscious visual weight like a shelf above triggers stress responses. Your body can't relax in spaces where something could fall. Feng Shui just says, don't sit where qi feels unsafe. So here's the shift. Move the shelf if you can, or at least don't sit under it. If it must stay, clear out the clutter, remove heavy books or boxes. Keep it light, plants, soft decor, nothing dense. Add an upward lamp near your desk to lift the energy visually. Or stick a soft affirmation underneath the shelf. This space is safe. I rise with clarity. Because the fix isn't just design. It's declaring authority over your workspace energy. Let your ideas float, not get flattened. I once told a client to take down their shelf and they said, but where will I put my inspirational rocks? I said, anywhere but above your skull. She laughed, moved them to a side cabinet, and later emailed me. I didn't know how heavy my thoughts were until they stopped feeling borrowed. There's this IT guy at a company I worked with. Quiet dude, always on time, great with spreadsheets. But every time I passed his office, he looked tense. I didn't get it at first, until I walked in one day and saw how his desk was set up. Chair here, back to the door. No view of who's entering. No mirror to catch the movement. Just silence, until someone spoke behind him. And when they did, he always flinched. Not dramatic, but enough to tell me. His nervous system was on edge, all the time. In Feng Shui, sitting with your back to the door is one of the most common energy mistakes in workspaces. It puts you in a vulnerable position. You can't see what's coming. You don't feel protected. And your energy subconsciously stays on guard. This setup invites hidden energy interference, interruptions, distractions, unexpected criticism, and even energetic burnout. It creates the feeling that you have to watch your back, even when you're just answering emails. You know that weird unease? When someone walks up behind you and you didn't hear them coming? Now imagine feeling that 5 or 6 times a day, for months. At work, that's what back to door does. It puts your body in a quiet state of alert, which drains your focus and builds low-level paranoia. You don't even realize you have until you turn the desk around, and suddenly, you breathe easier. Picture eating dinner in a restaurant with your back to the entrance. You can't relax. You keep checking reflections, listening harder, trying to anticipate. It's not about fear. It's about not feeling in control. And no one does their best work when their body is constantly checking for shadows. Environmental psychology calls this command position. Humans feel safer and more productive when they can see the entrance to a space. This aligns with ancient survival wiring. In Feng Shui, the command position restores grounded energy and reduces mental static. The shift? Turn the desk if you can. Face the door. Even if it's diagonal, yourself see who's coming. If that's not possible, place a mirror on your screen or wall so you catch movement behind you. Add a tall plant or soft divider behind your back to symbolically block disruption and protect your space. You're not just creating boundaries. You're telling the room, my energy is seated. I'm not available for surprise chaos. One HR manager I met refused to move her desk. I like the wall, she said. But after her third spilled coffee from being startled by coworkers, she added a mini mirror. A week later, she told me, I haven't jumped in days. Also, I finally finished a full report without pacing. Sometimes, the smallest shift makes the biggest difference, especially when it lets your nervous system exhale. You ever notice how some offices have a wall clock that's been stuck at the same time for months? I saw one like that last year in the break room of a small ad agency. It said 2:17 every day. No battery, no tick, no one cared. It just hung there like an old promise. No one had the heart to take down. People joked about it. Time stopped here. But the joke got old. Because the energy in that room, it really did feel frozen. Like conversations never flowed. Like snacks stayed untouched. Like that part of the office just stopped breathing. In Feng Shui, a dead clock is more than a decor fail. It's a symbol of stagnant qi, energy that refuses to move, evolve, or support forward motion. Clocks represent time, rhythm, life force. When they stop, they mirror stuck routines, stuck creativity, and stuck ambition. And in an office, it signals that things aren't growing. Momentum's gone, and something in the space is clinging to the past. You know that weird sensation when you're trying to move forward, but keep circling the same checklist? Like you're busy, but not going anywhere? That's the frozen clock effect. It quietly tells your subconscious, this is it. This is as far as we go. And your energy listens. You work hard, but don't feel progress. Imagine being on a treadmill, that makes noise, flashes lights, but doesn't move the belt. You run. You sweat. You feel tired, but you're still in the same spot. That's what happens when your environment holds symbols that say, "Time's up," but no one resets it. In workplace psychology, visual cues strongly affect cognitive patterns. Broken or stopped clocks subtly reinforce disorganization and low urgency. Over time, this decreases motivation and perceived flow. In Feng Shui terms, you've installed a sign that says, "Nothing moves here." Here's the shift. Remove any dead clocks, especially in visible areas. Replace them only if you plan to maintain them. Time should feel not haunted. Not ready to replace? Use the space for something symbolic of renewal. A photo of sunrise, a plant, a small water feature. Even a motivational quote with today's date can refresh the energy loop. Remember, you don't need more time. You need living time, something that moves with you. I once told a team to take down their dead clock. They replaced it with a dry erase board and wrote, "Right now is always a good time." Within a week, someone started refilling the snack drawer. The team started leaving notes like, "Presentation done. Client said yes. Lunch burritos equals fire." Turns out, when you let energy move, so do people. Sometimes, the real reason we feel drained at work isn't just the deadlines, or the people, or the hours. It's the chair that never felt safe, the mirror that sees too much, the shelf above our head we forgot was even there. It's how the space quietly echoes stress, day after day. If something in this video made you pause, or made you look at your desk a little differently, that means the energy is already starting to shift. So thank you for listening, for being the kind of person who cares about what can't always be seen, but can always be felt. Feel free to like, subscribe, or leave a quiet note in the comments. Your voice helps others feel seen too. And around here, that matters. Your space speaks. Wisdom listens.